So today we'll be discussing about Iran. You know, some people don't understand how powerful Iran is. And so we have been hearing about this rumor that Iran and United States will be going to war, or Iran and Israel. But the fact is that people don't understand that Israel cannot actually go to a war with Iran. Like, Israel can't go to war with Iran because they know they will literally lose the war. Now, this is a warning from Iran to IAEA. This IAEA means International Atomic Agency. That it has to do with the International Atomic Energy Agency. It has to do with the United Nations agency that focuses on countries that has nuclear material. Remember that nuclear material necessarily doesn't mean that you have a nuclear weapon, but it means that you have the knowledge that involves, if you want to have a nuclear weapon, it will not be difficult for you to speed it up. Now, and Iran have now acquired nuclear enriched uranium of 60%, and to make a nuclear bomb is 90%. So the IAEA is warning that Iran, they already published a news before that Iran has enough nuclear material to make a nuclear bomb. Now this is Iran sending a warning to IAEA, knowing that this body is obviously controlled by United States. We all can remember that this is the same way they attacked Iraq. They claimed that Saddam Hussein had weapon of mass destruction, that's chemical bomb or chemical weapon, which was actually given to them by the United States. So US always find a pretext to attack Middle East or any country they feel like is not following their agenda. But Iran is different this time around. Iran is just very different. Like, since the Iran revolution, I think 1970 or 1980, that was when they overthrew their leader, and since then they have been building themselves militarily from all angles. And the report showed that a verified report from IAEA who have shown that Iran, the military base, Iran don't keep their military base above ground. That's all the military base controlled by Iran or inside Iran is underground. We are talking of at least 500 meters below ground level. That's at least 5 times the length of football field dug underground. So it is literally impenetrable, and US knows how powerful Iran is when it comes to missile production. Iran now ranks at least in top 5 or top 10 biggest producer of missile, and this is why they now feel like they understand that going to war with Israel, they have an upper hand when it comes. The reality is that they have the upper hand when it comes to going to war with Israel, but they don't have upper hand when it comes to nuclear weapons. Israel has a nuclear weapon which has been hidden for years, but Iran don't want to go into producing nuclear weapons in such a way that we look like North Korea. They are trying to be diplomatic and being strategic at the same time. So let's see the warning Iran gave to the IAEA, and what I will be breaking down what each of the why they are saying this and why they should say it, and the relevance of each of the statements from this agency. Okay.
Ahead of the IAEA quarterly meeting Monday, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi warned of a strong response if the UN Nuclear Watchdog's Board of Governors takes action against Tehran, as Washington and its European allies plan on declaring Iran in breach of its so-called safeguard obligations.
My country is once again accused of non-compliance. Instead of engaging in good faith, the E3 is opting for malign action against Iran at the IAEA Board of Governors. Has the E3 truly learned nothing in the past 2 decades? Falsely accusing Iran of violating safeguards based on shoddy and politicized reporting is clearly designed to produce a crisis.
Araghchi also accused the
as you can see, this cannot be any, like, it can't get clearer than this. And so just like what I said, Iran is already they are ready. You understand? They are ready for any confrontation because they understand what they are going for. The fact is that Iran wants to have a strategic leverage in the Middle East. You know, just imagine Israel being the only country that has nuclear weapon or has the ability to produce nuclear weapon. In this stage now, Iran, even IAEA, I mean the agency, have not verified that Iran has a nuclear weapon, but they already know that Iran can produce a nuclear weapon in the matter of days if they want. If they want, you understand? Even the United Nations already know that Iran do not have that, but Israel is scared that if they launch any attack on Iran, Iran will be forced to produce a nuclear weapon which they will be used on Israel. And we all know that Israel is a one-bomb state. That means you don't need two nuclear weapons to wipe out Israel. And we all know that even an attack, even if the United States will attack Iran direct, that will literally destroy. That will be the worst war US will ever go in the Middle East, because Iran is the ones sponsoring, like they don't hide it. They're the ones sponsoring Hamas in Gaza, which Israel have failed to win a war with for over how many years now. They are already killing children. They are afraid to win a war with Houthi in Yemen. These are not governments, like these are not full-fledged government. Like this is not US or Israel fighting with the government. These are more like a faction, part of the country that are so much, supported by the people, and Iran is now arming them. It's not like just imagine if Israel cannot win a war with a faction that is not even a government. Imagine going to war with the country that has the highest number of military personnel in the Middle East, one of the largest landmass, and all the whole land border is either desert or river area. So all the whole attack you have to do to them is via a strike. So land attack is nearly impossible in Iran. If you can remember history, Iran in history was known as Persia, Gulf of Persia, like you hear of Prince of Persia. So Iran have literally been existing for over 5,000 years and have never been conquered. The last war between Iran and Iraq, despite Iraq using chemical weapon on its citizen who was opposing the government. When citizens rise up and try to oppose the government, Saddam Hussein has to use nuclear weapon on the citizens who are like supporting Iran, and Saddam Hussein was forced to withdraw. Yes, and despite the US backing them. So imagine US doing everything in the Middle East but dodging Iran. Imagine Israel just keep on threatening, we will do this, we will do that, but they have not done anything. Something is actually wrong somewhere. What's actually motivating Iran? That is the point everybody needs to understand.
European powers of repeating the quote, foul conduct that, in his view, played a role in Iran's decision to start its uranium enrichment activities nearly 2 decades ago. Referring to the 2005 diplomatic standoff that stemmed from the discovery of clandestine nuclear activities in Iran. This step is also likely to further complicate talks between the United States and Iran, aimed at imposing fresh restrictions on Iran's rapidly advancing nuclear program. Meanwhile, Iranian and
Okay. You said Iran has started this nuclear, nuclear development research for over 2 decades ago. That means Iran has been into understanding how nuclear weapon works and hoping to have one for over 20 years ago. So that means Iran, after the revolution, they already understand that this is what we await them in the future. So Iran has been planning for the future since 20 years ago. So this is not a country that that were just cut off in a war within 2 years and they're like, oh my god, we didn't expect it. Not like Ukraine. Yes, and not like, at least Ukraine saw the war coming. At least the first attempt was 2014, but I feel like Zelensky didn't understand, because Zelensky is just a president and Iran is being run by a supreme leader. The same man that overthrew the government in 1970s is the supreme leader of Iran. So imagine a leader who literally overthrew the government because the government is being controlled by US and Israel. So imagine the leader being in power. That means the leader have channel the country in such a way that the country already know these are the enemies. So every citizen of Iran now are in high alert. Understand? Every citizen in Iran is in high alert, and US know of it. That's why they don't want any war with it. Imagine US even sitting down to talk with someone, because they always say peace through strength. Imagine which country brings peace through strength. I mean, which country ever bring peace through war? That's the doctrine US practice. Imagine them sitting down for diplomatic talk with Iran. That means Iran is still really, they are playing hardball. And the last time, I think last week, Iran president visited this same man here, visited Lebanon. Lebanon and Israel has border. Visited Lebanon, and the Lebanese government, and told them that they were trying to form a diplomatic, to tell you that Iran is they are saying it openly that they are willing to sponsor anybody in the Middle East, especially those people affected by Zionist regime, because we all know Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, is a Zionist, and is all these white supremacists that run away from Europe during the Second World War, and they believe in they want to conquer everywhere. To literally they are thinking like the world we are still in 400 years ago, where they came to Africa and did whatever they want, enslaved. So this is literally what is in the mind of people in Israel, but this time around they are getting the whole picture wrong. Okay.
Iranian media sites asserted on Saturday that Tehran has acquired a large cache of sensitive and strategic Israeli intelligence, including documents pertaining to Israel's defense preparations and nuclear facilities. There was no proof offered to back up the assertions or details on the documents.
Our sources said that although the operation to obtain the aforementioned documents was carried out some time ago, the enormous volume of documents and the necessity of safely transporting the entire shipment into the country have caused a news embargo until it was ensured that all of them reach the intended protected locations.
According to Iran...
Okay, you see Iran. Imagine Iran hacked into the Israeli security space and stole all the files that proved that Israel has a nuclear bomb. Israel is an open secret. Israel has a nuclear bomb, but they did not sign. They are not part of the nuclear non-proliferation treaty. That's basically saying that in as much as you have the nuclear ability to produce nuclear weapon, you are not going to produce it. Israel is not part of this treaty. Israel has not accepted that they have nuclear bomb. Israel has not been like Israel is just having nuclear bomb and claiming not to have, despite the fact that this nuclear bomb was made during the period even South Africans we are also making their own nuclear bomb. So South Africans are white South Africans that conquered South Africa. Imagine that those periods, so that at the same time we are obtaining the nuclear bomb. So Iran have to hack into Israeli cyberspace. Imagine hacking into Israeli cyberspace. Let's think about it for a while. Think about it, hacking into Israeli cyberspace. But they did it through the help of two Israelis, which were arrested. This was last year, but Iran did not comment on it. As you can see from their news agents, from their news channel in Iran, that they don't want to comment on it because the volume of the information was high, so they have to make sure it is in safe place before they can now say it out. And I'm suggesting that the US already know that Iran has this. That's one of the reasons even Joe Biden told Israel not to attack Iran, because if they release it, the world is already against the United States. So imagine if Iran released the whole information about Israel. I don't know about one thing is for sure. Not only as in Africa, we have a kind of psychological liberation, because I believe some part of Africa, a lot of Africa is still in psychological and mental slavery. Okay, let's go on.
Iranian state television. The intelligence was gathered and transferred by Roy Mizrahi and Almog Atias to
Okay, I didn't even see this coming. Imagine the two people that were arrested for helping Iran, because we all know. Let's look at it from this point. These are Israeli. These are, if you look at their faces, you know that these are literally Middle Eastern. You know that they're Arab. But just go and look at the Israeli Prime Minister, President, or all this. You see that they are Europeans. So you understand that if Iran is talking about Israel, they're talking about they are always refer to Israel as Zionist regime. They don't refer to Israelis, the other Israelis, because they know that even the Israelis are tired of their governments. That's the reality. So imagine these people working with Iran because their government is obviously being controlled by the European, and every decision is taken, for political interest, white supremacy mindset, and that's why they don't even want to get along with Palestine, because they feel like they always need to rule and they're scared of losing power, just like whites, the way white did in South Africa.
Israelis arrested in May on suspicion of collecting intelligence on behalf of Iran. Officials said the pair maintained contact with Iranian operatives throughout 2025 and carried out a series of security-related missions, fully aware they were acting under Iranian direction. In recent years, Iranian intelligence operatives have ramped up efforts to recruit Israelis as spies in exchange for money. Last December, police arrested nearly 30 Israelis for espionage activities on behalf of Iran.
Okay, imagine. This is to tell you the extent we are, and to show you that the shit is getting rare. And let's watch out on how the shit will keep on getting. So just subscribe to my page and thumb up. I'll give you guys more updates on geopolitical issues.